Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us today. This is Anyman, reminding you that you have the power. And to help you with that power, we bring you the Superman Handbook. Again, by Scott Beatty, just like the Batman Handbook. The ultimate guide to saving the day. The back cover says, "Heroes wanted, no tights required." You don't need superpowers to be a superhero. All that's required are strength, courage, and one copy of the Superman Handbook, the first real-world training manual for heroes of all ages. It's full of illustrated step-by-step instructions for defeating villains and rescuing innocent bystanders. You'll discover how to tackle a criminal, how to stop a runaway train, how to save someone from a teetering car, how to treat someone who's been electrocuted, how to save someone from a burning building, how to rescue a kitten stuck up in a tree, and dozens of other crucial skills for any superhero in training. Up, up, and away. Scott Beatty is the author of several books and graphic novels, including the Batman Handbook and Superman the Ultimate Guide. He lives in Pennsylvania. Superman trademark and copyright 2006, DC Comics. Of course, this is published by Quirk Books. A warning from the Fortress of Solitude. Despite its appearance, this guide to following Superman's example is a work of fiction and should be enjoyed as such. It is a facsimile of an actual handbook that might have been designed to educate supporters and fans of Superman. Although it is a well-conceived work of fantasy, the author has provided the most accurate, real-world information available for aspiring good guys. However, attempting to save people like a superhero can be very dangerous no matter what the situation. Even Superman himself, if he really existed, would have difficulty saving people in danger despite his many superpowers. Moreover, when a life is in danger and a dangerous situation is at hand, a truly safe alternative may not exist. To deal with the situations presented in this book, the safest initial course of action in the real world is to contact the relevant authorities, especially medical personnel. The publishers, the author, and DC Comics hereby disclaim any liability from any injury that may result from the use, proper or improper, of the information contained in this book. We do not guarantee that this information is complete, safe, or wholly accurate, nor should it be considered a substitute for your good judgment and common sense. That being said, the Superman Handbook, the Ultimate Guide to Saving the Day, by Scott Beatty. Foreword by Mark Waid. Pencils by John Delaney. Inks by Dave Cooper and Terry Beatty. Covers by Mike Rogalski. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Quirk Books, Philadelphia. Contents. Foreword by Mark Waid. Introduction. Chapter 1, Super Skills. How to knock out a villain, Superman's super abilities, how to break through a door, how to tackle a runaway goon, Most Wanted, Superman's greatest foes, bad English, how to speak Bizarro, how to tie up a henchman, how to dodge bullets, how to block bullets, how to leap in a single bound, pole vault, Supermen, real-life men of steel, how to leap in a single bound, long jump, how to achieve super senses. Chapter 2, Super Rescues. How to stop a runaway car, how to stop someone being buried alive in an avalanche, flight school, how to fend off wild animals, the Legion of Super Pets, how to rescue someone from quicksand, how to rescue a drowning victim, Superman's greatest saves, how to rescue someone from a riptide, how to rescue a flood victim, how to free someone trapped under heavy objects, Super Tech, how to save someone in a teetering car, how to save someone hanging from the ledge of a building, how to enter a burning building, Super Inspirations, how to save someone who has fallen down a well. Chapter 3, Saving the Day. How to perform CPR, how to treat a cut, the ultimate first aid kit, how to treat an animal bite, how to treat a burn, how to treat a broken limb, how to treat a broken neck, how to save a choking victim, how to help a seizure victim, how to save someone who has been poisoned, how to treat radiation exposure, a field guide to kryptonite, Superman's super weaknesses, how to treat starvation or dehydration, How to treat an electrocution victim. The amazing story of Superman Red and Superman Blue. How to deal with a panicking bystander. Jimmy Olsen's Blues. Chapter 4. Saves at Home. How to fix a flat tire. How to jumpstart a car. How to put out a fire. How to deal with a gas leak. Super Sanctuary. How to refill a water cooler. Super Makeover. How to repair a broken photocopier. Super Alter Ego. How to fix a burst pipe. How to dry out a flooded basement. How to fix an electrical outage. Who knows Superman's secret? How to save a kitten stuck in a tree. Acknowledgements and about the Super Crew. Forward. Good news. Whether you realize it or not, you and Superman share a superpower. Wait, it gets better. Not just any power. His greatest power. The legend of Superman is one of the world's best-known stories. Rocketed as an infant from the doomed planet Krypton, the alien Kal-El was adopted and raised by a kindly farm couple in the American heartland. As an adult, disguised as Clark Kent, he came to the big city of Metropolis and works today as a reporter for the Daily Planet. Clark's friends and co-workers think he's an ordinary mild-mannered fellow, no different from you or me. But when danger calls, Kent slips out of sight, peels off his Oxford shirt and non-prescription eyeglasses to reveal a hidden costume, and takes to the skies as Superman, champion of the weak and oppressed. When I was a child, I was at first humbled by the seemingly endless array of dazzling abilities Superman wielded. He could fly, but no matter how many dish towel tapes I pinned around my neck, gravity and I maintained our master-servant relationship. Superman could see through walls, while my corrective lenses got thicker every year. Bullets bounced off his chest, whereas I'm still carrying around scars on the knees I skinned at age 4, and 5, and so on. And yet, despite our numerous differences, I never ceased to be impressed, genuinely awed, in fact, by the one thing he does that I find most amazing of all. Here is a guy with the power of a god, someone who could rule the world starting today, if he desires, who can have absolutely anything his heart longs for and get away with positively any deed imaginable, all without one single threat of reprisal. But when the totality of time and space are subject to his slightest whim, he chooses only to help others. That is Superman's greatest power. When presented with the opportunity, he takes action to make things better. And that's a power that lies within us all. In the pages that follow, you'll discover all manner of techniques and tips to save the day, and you'll probably be relieved to know that none of them require leaping over tall buildings or bending steel in your bare hands. Some of these skills consist of first aid knowledge, or advice you can use every day. Others are slightly less commonly pragmatic unless you find yourself walking past burning buildings with unusual frequency, or your friends and loved ones are often chained to runaway express trains by criminal geniuses. Still, it's all good advice. Even if you are just an ordinary mild-mannered fellow, you can never tell when you'll be called upon to answer a cry for help. Go on. Be the hero who gets that kitten safely down from the tree. You'll feel so good you could fly. Mark Waid, Los Metropolis, California. Mark Waid has, over the past 20 years, written several comic books a month, including Tales of Superman and the Justice League, and he's not tired yet. A pro and a fan, he lives in Los Angeles in one of those apartments where it's hard to find a place to stand that doesn't have a picture of Superman in your line of sight. Introduction. Oh, to be Superman. The alien infant Kal-El escaped his home planet Krypton's destruction and traveled across space to Earth, a far inferior world, devoid of all the technological wonders and developmental zeniths achieved by Kryptonian civilization. But by the time Krypton exploded from internal stresses, the planet's society had become cold and emotionless, the last act of love, committed on its sterile surface, was Jor-El and Lara's decision to send their only child out into the cosmos like some celestial Moses. Kal-El zoomed out of the sky, landed in rural Kansas, and was raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent, real salt-of-the-earth folks, who taught the last son of Krypton that honesty and integrity are the highest virtues. They also instilled in their adopted son, whom they named Clark, Martha's maiden name, the golden rule of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, a life lesson that would carry him far. In his teens, Clark developed the first of many superpowers, abilities far beyond those of a normal man. His Kryptonian physiology, energized by the rays of Earth's yellow sun, caused Clark's skin to become invulnerable, and his strength increased 1,000-fold. He soon learned he could defy gravity, flying into the stratosphere and beyond, and finding himself capable of surviving in the unyielding vacuum of space and the crushing depths beneath the ocean waves. His senses became so finely tuned that he could hear sounds from more than 100 miles, 160 kilometers, away, and see through virtually any substance by sheer force of will with a kind of X-ray vision. Blessed with miraculous powers and a desire to use them to battle crime and injustice, the Man of Steel didn't just grow up to be a man. He became the paradigm for heroic perfection, a man of tomorrow we can all aspire to be. In short, Superman. Unfortunately, Superman's one of a kind. Heat vision and unaided flight are not abilities you're likely to acquire, no matter how hard you try. And as a normal human being, there's no practical way to gain the strength of 10 men without the use of anabolic steroids and a training regimen that would last half your lifetime. However, there is more to Superman than superpowers and extraordinary feats. Ma and Pa Kent made sure of that. Being Superman isn't just about saving Lois Lane from certain doom or bashing Lex Luthor and his ilk into submission, though, in the case of supervillains such as Luthor, it might be useful to know how to deliver a knockout punch. See page 13. First and foremost, being Superman is about doing right by your fellow men and women. If you aspire to the same ideals of honesty and integrity as Superman, doing the right thing and becoming the ultimate good guy can run the gamut from the high heroics of rescuing someone who's drowning to unsung but noble deeds such as refilling your office water cooler without being asked. Collected here are real-world tips on how to become a real-life Superman. Consider this a primer on doing the right thing under circumstances both dire and mundane. With this knowledge, you'll not only earn the respect of the people you help, but you'll also be a Superman in the eyes of the world's greatest hero, an orphan who made Earth his home. If you've got the will to do good, turn the page. Chapter 1. Super Skills. You don't have to have superpowers to be a good guy, but it helps. Superman's astounding abilities don't make him a hero. His powers, outlined in the following pages, certainly facilitate his many feats of heroism, but it's his overwhelming and unstoppable drive to help others that makes him a superhero, which is a good thing because the human body is limited to some preset parameters. You can only become so strong and so fast, and you can only see so well. However, these limitations don't preclude you from acting like a hero in times of need. As you read on, you'll see that many acts of daring do often require only two qualities in the average good guy: advanced thinking and a clear head. Armed thus, anyone of modest strength faced with a dire situation can capture a bad guy or save someone from calamity. These skill sets outlined here don't require super speed or X-ray vision. Only a quick reaction time, an awareness of your surroundings, and a willingness to help others. How to knock out a villain. With an ordinary bad guy, Superman has to pull his punches. A single untempered blow could send an opponent into orbit. An innocent hand gesture could register as a knockout blow to the average thug. Of course, Superman's faced off against much worse. The supervillain Mongol, leader of Warworld and its deadly interstellar gladiator games, is actually even stronger than Superman. Luckily, Superman was able to hone his powers in Mongol's arena and eventually bested the alien tyrant. By following some of the basics of boxing, you too can take on a worthy opponent and send him into Slumberland. Step 1. Set up your opponent with a light jab. Boxing is often a well-choreographed dance as fighters dodge and weave in search of an opening to land the perfect punch. Begin by setting up your opponent with a light jab to his face, aiming for the eyes or the nose. A blow to either area will cause his eyes to water, temporarily blinding and disorienting him. The jab will throw him off his game, forcing him to retreat or leave an opening for additional blows. Step 2. Follow with several quick jabs to the body. Quick punches to a villain's chest or torso will force your opponent to lower his guard. Like most boxers, or anyone engaged in a fist fight, your opponent will be concerned with protecting his head. The quick jabs at his torso will trick him into thinking that you're now only concerned with punching low. Step 3. When your opponent drops his guard, spring up fast with an overhand cross. When your opponent drops his arms to protect his torso, spring up with an overhand cross and strike him squarely at ear level between his ear and his temple. A cross is one of the most devastating blows and will disorient him, if not render him briefly unconscious. This blow often results in a flash knockdown, which is a delayed reaction where the person struck doesn't realize that he has been hit so hard. He's likely to stagger a few feet before falling down and seeing stars. While most assume that a straight-on shot to the face is more staggering, a shot to the side of the head drains blood vessels and nerve endings. When you make his head spin with that right cross, increased rotational forces stretch the vessels and endings, causing your opponent to lose consciousness. I'd also like to note that it brings your arm into alignment so that you can quickly raise or lower it to block or to parry your enemy's strikes or grabs away from you. Step 4. Finish with a hook. If your overhand punch doesn't do the job completely, finish your opponent off with a right or left hook to score the knockout. Thus, the overhand hook combo is a 1-2 punch and spells lights out for your opponent. I'd also like to note that you can also use an uppercut, or your elbows, or your forearms. And these are only strikes with your arms. I'd also like to note that you can flatten your fist by folding your fingers in at the middle knuckle to make a smaller, thinner, flatter fist that will take less damage to the bones of the hand and wrist than a regular punch would. You can also use a hammer fist, which is with the flat sides of the fists, or you can use your fingertips or an extended knuckle to help cushion the blow and focus all of the power of your punch into the knuckle. Or you can use the heel of your palm, which is padded, as well as being used to taking a lot of pressure. Or you can use the sides of your hand as knife edge for chopping, which will also accomplish a similar purpose. I'd also like to point out that when you do punch, you should try to land the punch on the knuckles of your first and second finger, or your first, second, and third finger, rather than landing them on your little finger or thumb. Of course, this is all different from boxing, but you can also scratch with or claw or gouge with the fingertips and nails. And of course, when you're aiming lower, you can use your knees, you can use your shins, you can use the sides of your feet for sweeping and for kicking. You can use the heel of the foot, the sole of the foot, the balls of the feet, where you normally stand up on to get to tiptoes. We can always get into that stuff later. Anyway, step 1. Superman begins with a light jab aiming for Mongol's eyes and nose. Step 2. Superman follows with rapid punches to the torso. Step 3. As Mongol drops his guard, Superman hits him with a left cross. Step 4. Superman finishes Mongol off with a right hook. Superman's super abilities. Before you can imitate Superman, you have to know Superman. Pity the supervillain who assumes that the Man of Steel is merely super strong and able to fly. He has a few other tricks up his blue sleeves, skin tight as they may seem. Taken individually or en masse, Superman's abilities make him far superior to the average human being. They're enough to make him a walking weapon of mass destruction. Thank goodness he's on our side. All of Superman's abilities are fueled by Earth's yellow sun as opposed to Krypton's red dwarf, which energizes his Kryptonian cellular structure as if he were a living solar battery. Here's a thorough rundown of Superman's awesome powers. Super strength. The limits of his super strength have never been tested, but Superman has lifted mountains and moved the moon from its orbit on more than one occasion. In his super strong grip, he's pressed a lump of coal into a flawless diamond, and with that same super strong fist, the Man of Steel has punched supervillains right off the surface of the planet and into orbit. His great strength is matched by equally tireless stamina. Invulnerability. Thanks to Earth's sun and his unique Kryptonian physiology, Superman generates an invisible force field around his entire body. This aura is barely a micron in thickness, permitting you to touch him. Bullets, death rays, and other threats, however, bounce right off his skin. He's been at ground zero for nuclear explosions of 40 megatons, that's 36 million metric tons, or more, and suffered almost no ill effects, and he's even successfully withstood the space-time warping produced by close proximity to a black hole, whose gravity is stronger than any other force in the universe. Flight. Whether leaping a tall building in a single bound or flying non-stop from Metropolis to Tokyo in minutes, Superman is unfettered by Earth's gravitational pull. He can also fly through the vacuum of space at velocities that have yet to be measured. He isn't faster than light, but Superman has rocketed at speeds close to it. Supervision. Superman's super senses, supervision, can be broken down into several distinct powers, limited only by the speed at which light travels. X-ray vision. His most famous ocular ability, Superman's X-ray vision enables him to see through virtually any substance. Only extremely dense materials such as lead can block his gaze. Heat vision. Shooting out like twin red laser beams from his eyes, Superman's heat vision varies in intensity from a warming glow to the heat of the sun. Microscopic vision. With microscopic vision, Superman can observe even the tiniest detail, even to the edges of the subatomic realm. Telescopic vision. Superman's telescopic vision enables him to discern even very distant objects with 20/20 clarity. Superbreath. Superman's lung capacity is staggering. By superinhalation, he can condense vast amounts of air in his lungs, pressurizing it into a super cold state. This enables him to extinguish raging infernos with a concentrated super exhalation. He can also hold his breath much longer than any human being, making it possible for him to survive for extended periods in the airless expanses of space, or far below the surface of the oceans. Super speed. Superman isn't known as the fastest man alive. That nickname belongs to the scarlet speedster known as the Flash, who can move at velocities approaching the speed of light, thanks to his ability to tap into an interdimensional field called the Speed Force. Superman's incredible celerity is powered by his solar-charged cells. Naturally, everyone has long wondered who is faster, the Man of Steel or the Scarlet Speedster. On several occasions, the heroes have engaged in a foot race over land, across the seas, and through space and time to settle the question once and for all. Each time, however, something has prevented the match from being a fair test. But Superman is, at worst, the second fastest man alive, which is still pretty speedy. So, to recap his super abilities, he has super strength, he has an invisible, impenetrable aura, he has super speed, he has, for supervision, heat vision, X-ray vision, microscopic vision, and telescopic vision, and he has super breath. Superman inhales and condenses vast amounts of air, and then he exhales it in one super cold breath. Well, by the way, I want to point out that to supplement your studies of unarmed and armed combat, there is a resource that is available from the U.S. Army. It's the most modern version of the U.S. Army's Combatives program. It was developed by Matt Larson, and it's Field Manual 3-25.150. In it you will find information about basic ground fighting. You will find information on the definition of combatives, the purposes of combatives training, basic principles, and safety. You will find information on the responsibilities of trainers, safety precautions, one-station unit training, unit sustainment training program, training formations, how to make a matted room, pit construction, making a bayonet assault course, doing warm-ups and stretches, the crawl, walk, and run dynamic, demonstrations, execution by the numbers, execution at combat speed, drills, and training pads and other protective equipment that you should use. You'll also find information on basic ground fighting techniques from the back mount to the front mount and the guard to side control, body positioning moves, finishing moves, drills, and defenses against headlocks. You'll find information on advanced ground fighting techniques, including advanced body positions, ways to pass the guard, attacks from the mount, attacks from the back mount, attacks from the guard, knee mounts, leg attacks, passing the guard with strikes, and striking from the side control. You'll find information on takedowns and throws, starting with break falls, closing the distance and achieving the clinch, throws and takedowns, defending against headlocks, takedowns from against a wall, double leg attacks, single leg attacks, and attacks from the rear. You'll find information on striking, related to arm strikes, punching combinations, kicks, and transition between ranges. For more information on that, you can look up videos from Gutter Fighting CQC or Defendu on YouTube. You can also check out gutterfighting.org, which will teach you the same techniques that were used for decades before Matt Larson came along. It'll teach you how to use handheld weapons. It'll teach you different angles of attack, how to use a rifle with a fixed bayonet, how to use a bayonet or knife, knife against knife sequences, advanced weapons techniques and training, how to use entrenching tools, how to use 3-foot sticks and 6-foot poles. It will teach you standing defenses against chokes, bear hugs, armed opponents, knives, and rifles with fixed bayonets. And it will teach you group tactics regarding range, control, finishing, 2 against 1, 3 against 2, the principles of parity, 1 against 2, and 2 against 3. Naturally, you wouldn't expect a manual about Superman to have all that information, but it does include Superman's most common style of fighting, which is boxing. So anyway, that's a little more information to empower you with. This is Anyman reminding you that you have the power. Use it wisely and use it well.